Hello, my name is Mariana Gamboa, and I am the creator of the film Stolen Gardens, a tragic drama and romance. My film follows a story of a woman named Jane who was charged for first-degree murder of her stepfather and was sentenced to death row. The film starts with Jane as an older woman in prison, the day before she is put to death, being asked to share her true story. The rest of the film goes way back from the beginning of Jane's life and follows all of the factors that eventually led up to her murdering her stepfather. Jane's stepfather sexually, emotionally, and physically abused Jane's mother up until she died of a heart attack. And since then, Jane became the victim and had to endure years of pain. When Jane was 17, she fell in love with Leo, who technically saved her from ending her own life. When her stepfather caught them together, he killed Leo, so Jane eventually takes revenge and murders her stepfather. When I started this project, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. Since I chose to work alone for this project, my brain had to come up with something fast. I decided I wanted to do a film that produced emotion in the audience. My favorite films such as Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, The Truman Show, Into the Wild, and many other dramas made me want to produce the same eye-opening feeling I got when I watched those films. I believe that my film's intention is to spread awareness about those who are born into troubled and dysfunctional families. Sadly, those born into these types of families sometimes eventually end up like their parents. My hope is to stop that cycle by spreading awareness of the children who are currently in difficult situations similar to those. I also intend to challenge the conventions of how society views criminals, which in many cases are viewed without mercy. I hope to give another perception to the audience about criminals and how they are not all monsters by submerging the audience into the story of Jane and feel sympathy for her. Even though there are many people who are certainly guilty of their crimes, many are unaware that they are all human and have a story to tell, just like Jane. Part of my inspiration for this film was a film called The Florida Project, directed by Sean Baker, which is about the childhood of kids living in lower-class families in motels. This inspired me because it portrays a very real aspect of life that I believe isn't shown enough in cinema. Sean Baker also believed that these types of movies weren't shown enough and wanted to spread awareness. My target audience is technically anyone who is older than 18, as this film would be considered rated R. I did not choose a specific gender since I believe everybody should know about these topics. Since there are many people out there who have gone through such things as domestic violence and abuse, I am hoping that this film can be relatable to them and make them feel less lonely. My product engages with the audience in a way that makes them feel emotion for Jane by using some genre characteristics of drama, such as extreme close-ups, sentimental music, and nostalgic themes. This way, the audience is able to travel back to Jane's memories and feel sympathy for her. Since I also wanted the film to be relatable, I purposefully made the Jane fall in love at a young age so most of the audience can relate to the nostalgia of one's first love. In addition, since this is only a film opening, I did not plan to spoil the whole story in the first 2 minutes of the movie. Instead, I gave clues about the plot using flashbacks, which aren't in order. This increases the audience's urge to continue watching the movie and know what really happens. I would distribute this film by showing it through a film festival such as the Savannah Film Festival, which shows independent films. This way I could climb up the ladder and get noticed by A24. My production skills have developed a lot through this process. Since it's the first time I worked on a film project alone, I was able to explore and learn more about filming, editing, revising, and so much more. Since there is a time limit on my film, I had to cut off unnecessary seconds from certain scenes, but still make it so the film told the story correctly. My father, who is an actor and also studied production in college, gave me tips on how I could make my film better. His advice helped me a lot, and I believe they will also help me for the long run in future projects. For this project, I used my phone to shoot the scenes, which works surprisingly well since iPhones have an incredible lens. I used iMovie to edit this film, and it was the first time I used it as I usually use WeVideo. But it was very easy to use and it wasn't too complicated. As for the sound, I used the actors' phones to record their voice on a separate voice note so that the audio could be heard well and later added to the clip. Overall, I am content with how my film opening turned out, and I'm pretty satisfied to see my vision come to life. I hope that this film can move people and make them think about all of the other Janes out there that had to grow up in a painful manner and didn't get the justice they deserved.